Making stuff is hard.
Especially in the entertainment world.
Where big egos, bigger budgets,
And just plain bad luck
can make things go horribly wrong.
and we're going behind the scenes of these disastrous
never-ending.
And often dangerous productions.
to find out why.
It was a shit show. Hello, friends. My name is Ian, joined by Clint.
Hello.
And Ray.
Hello.
This is It Was a Shit Show. I wanted to just get into this episode, but you guys literally just made an allusion to you don't think Triple Frontier is what we're going to be talking about today at all.
No, I think
Yeah.
that because it makes no sense why we watched this movie. It seems like a weird one to pick. And so I have a feeling that you're going to pull classic Ian switcheroo.
Yeah, this feels like an
fuck
Ian.
with us.
Yeah, this feels like an Ian bait and switch.
Yeah. Classic
Ian
Fucking Ian.
It's
God
Ian,
damn.
Ian special.
This is an Ian special.
Yes. No. So while researching the Uncharted episode, I noticed that one of its producers, they share similar producers. One of its producers is Alex Gartner. And I was like, oh, I wonder what else he did, right? And I went to his Wikipedia page, and it consisted of 3 sentences, one of which was, he was part of the convoluted, decade-long quest to film Triple Frontier.
Whoa.
So, upon looking into it, it was in fact a shit show, but more importantly, a short and easy one to tell, because Ray hates how long these episodes are getting.
Because I have to look at 3 hours of footage and make it less than 2 hours, like make it an hour and a half.
Yeah, our Starship Troopers one was easily over 3 hours.
It was a lot over 3 hours. Yeah.
And-
So
and we
basically,
cut that down to, for the regular episodes, down to an hour and a half.
basically, instead of trying to just not go so long in our filming and to make you do all these edits, Ian has then instead come up with a whole episode for you to still edit. That could not.
But it's short.
But it's short.
So
Yeah.
Yes.
it's our new series, short shit shows.
I want to make this like what?
Turd talks.
Nah.
I did it.
Yep.
Branding.
So I want to prove that we can pull this one under an hour, okay?
Okay.
And I think we can
Let's do it.
We can do it. So let's talk the movie that refused to die.
Okay.
Triple Frontier.
Unlike spoilers.
I was going to do spoilers there in a minute.
That's hilarious.
That was a shit show back then, man. We don't leave messes like that.
You know, so it's predominantly driven by a group of men, a great ensemble. So casting that is a jigsaw puzzle on many levels, on personality, skill sets, type of actors, hair color, crazy things that you'd never think. And then the good old-fashioned scheduling, which a movie like this takes a long time to shoot.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that Triple Frontier is no one's favorite movie.
Yeah.
I'm willing to bet that there's not somebody that's just like, this is the greatest movie that I've ever seen, or it's too competently made to be like someone's guilty pleasure. So like,
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of people just truly love this movie. So
It's
I don't
just kind of
think-
just there.
It's just there. So I don't think I'm going to offend a lot of people if we breeze right through this.
Sure.
So for the sake of brevity, today there's no Clint's Closet, no follow-ups, no Patreon shout-outs, full spoilers.
Ben Affleck dies.
Ben Affleck dies. Spoiler alert. We're getting right into it.
Okay, the origin of the film goes all the way back to 2009.
Okay.
As director Catherine Bigelow and screenwriter Mark Bowl are finishing up The Hurt Locker.
Okay.
Weirdly enough, we also mentioned Mark Bowl in Uncharted. They're finishing up The Hurt Locker, and the two wanted to work together again. Luckily, Bowl has 2 scripts he's been working on. The first one is about the 2001 failed attempt to assassinate Osama bin Laden, and the second was Triple Frontier, which was also called Sleeping Dogs. I don't know. There were interchangeable titles at that time.
I mean, they're both bad. But Sleeping Dogs is at least kind of like, I wonder what that's about. Triple Frontier is like,
Yeah.
so boring.
I was like, what do you think the movie's about? Because she had no idea. She's like, I don't know.
Space? Because I'm
Yeah, like
like space, the final frontier, right?
Well,
like, I don't
thought
know.
when you said we were watch Triple Frontier, my first joke to myself that I should have said to you too was like, do I need to watch Frontier and Double Frontier first?
Single Frontier.
Yeah, Single Frontier and Double Frontier, because I was like, that's a weird way to number a movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just gonna jump into the third of
Yeah.
a series.
They're like, no, there's only three. There's only the Triple Frontier. That's it.
It's like, could you imagine any other franchise who doubles it like that? I was like, we're going to watch Terminator. Now we're going to watch Double Terminator. And now Triple Terminator.
Terminator squared.
Yep.
Okay, so yeah, Triple Frontier is about 5 special forces pulling off a heist in South America.
Heist family.
Heist family. Finally, we got our heist
Oh
family.
my god.
And Mark Wahlberg is nowhere to be found.
And did David O. Russell also direct this?
Are you kidding me?
All right, hold on.
He's wait, what do they say? He's like a bad penny. He just keeps turning
that's
up.
right.
Yes.
I'm learning.
Man, I'm so good at this podcast.
So Bigelow and Bull pursued both projects, both the Osama bin Laden one and Triple Frontier. Then in 2010, The Hurt Locker won 6 Academy Awards, including Best Picture, Best Director for Catherine Bigelow, becoming the first female director, and the Best Original Screenplay by Mark Bull. So this skyrockets the two of them into prestige category, right?
Yeah.
So they're going to make another movie. I want to be involved. Triple Frontier took the lead when Paramount greenlit the film for a budget of $60 million. And in October, Bigelow was meeting with actors for a projected February 2011 start date. 2 actors are very interested in joining, and these are for the parts of Red Fly, played by Ben Affleck, and Pope, played by Oscar Isaac. So when we're talking about the actors today, we're mostly talking about these 2 roles. Those 2 actors, Tom Hanks
Oh, what?
and Johnny Depp.
No.
Oh.
Doesn't make sense. Okay, continue.
I know, right? I don't either of them. I think that's kind of a weird one, right?
Weird.
Well, yeah.
So wait, they wanted Tom Hanks for Red Fly, which was Ben Affleck's.
Tom Hanks and Johnny Depp wanted these parts.
Oh, okay. But
Yes.
Tom Hanks wanted Red Fly.
Yes, Ben Affleck's
Ben
part.
Affleck's character, and
Yeah.
then Johnny Depp wanted. Okay.
So Depp wanted the part, but he was set to make Dark Shadows and The Lone Ranger that right after that. But he was trying to work it out with the producers because he wanted to be so involved. Now, they also got Charles Roven, who we talked about Uncharted. He also did Uncharted, 12 Monkeys to Dark Knight. That's what I said on that. But he confirmed that Tom Hanks signed on in November and began training to put on muscle. Fast forward to 2019, Roven can't remember if Hanks actually signed on, but he was training for the part. Hanks' publicist denies that they ever made a deal,
Yeah.
and said that Hanks was in good shape. He was in good shape at the time, but it had nothing to do with the movie.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
It's because he was going to be playing Walt Disney.
Yeah.
He got the Walt Disney shape.
Swole Disney.
Whoa, right?
Swole Disney. Notoriously swole Walt
Yeah,
Disney was,
yep. It's a swole world after all.
It's a swole world after all.
Yeah, that's just what the puppets are doing. Just like, or they're pumping iron. Like, yeah.
It's just this is bro version of It's a Small World.
Mixing protein shakes.
You gotta put some creatine in that, bro.
Yeah.
It's a swole world.
Swole world after all.
So, while Depp is sorting out his schedule, other actors show interest. People like Sean Penn, Javier Bardem, and Christian Bale.
Okay.
But one actor really wanted in, but Bigelow did not think they were right for the part and refused to see him. That person, Will Smith.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
And I think this is for Pope. Okay, so
Okay.
Oscar Isaac's here. Smith and Bigelow share the same agency, and the agents were just like, why is she stonewalling us here? So they went around her, talked to Paramount to set up a meeting between the two. And she met with him a couple of times, Rovin calls this fake news. That never happened. But they still never got together. They didn't. It didn't work out because since all this big actors were involved, that meant scheduling became a fucking nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it became a huge problem. And then in January of 2011, Bigelow and Boll jumped to the Bin Laden project because it just got greenlit. So Triple Frontier was put to the side. Ironically, the Bin Laden project was gearing up for a summer production that year. And in May, Bin Laden was found and killed. And so they had to start from scratch from the project.
Yeah.
So they were like, oh, let's actually do his actual death.
Right.
And Zero Dark 30 was released at the end of 2012. I've always wondered why that movie came out so fucking fast.
I did too. Like, how is
Interesting.
it?
Yeah, because
Between-
they were already working on
They were already
the
working on
project.
something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Between his actual death and the movie release, like, I remember thinking the same thing. It's like, wow, what?
Yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
that
Like,
was
how
quick
did they?
turnaround.
Because most of that kind of information is not revealed until much later.
Yeah.
Years
Right.
have passed. But apparently, Mark Boll got like a source that may have violated some things.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, I may have committed some.
But no, like the military was like, how did they know this stuff?
Yeah. That's crazy.
But that's why that movie came out as fast as it did.
Gotcha. Okay.
Bigelow and Boll returned to Triple Frontier in after they finished Zero Dark 30. And the projected budget kept getting higher because of these big actors. And so now they're at like an 80 million. They're just like, this scheduling is killing us. It's just driving us nuts. And
Yeah.
so they jump again to a whole different project about Bo Bergdahl. He was a U.S. soldier held by
He's
by
the second
Taliban.
season of Serial.
Yeah, so they were going to do a movie about him. This never happens. Okay, then an anonymous source said this all fell apart because Bigelow couldn't get along with Rovin, and Rovin didn't like working with Boll.
No, it's a
Classic
hate triangle.
hate triangle. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that's kind of
Oh,
explains
that is
so
a little
much.
bit like this podcast. Classic hate triangle.
I love this. What are you talking about?
Oh, awkward. I mean,
Now he knows that the one of us hates the other. Great.
But I'm lovable.
I'm a snack.
I'm a lovable
I wasn't gonna
snack.
say it. They love me,
Right?
right?
Everyone, please give Clint more validation in the comments. Okay.
Okay, so Rovin denies that there was a hate triangle.
Oh,
much-
he's like me.
Wait,
yeah,
did
exactly.
he actually call it that?
he denies
Good.
that there was like problems between
Right.
with Bigelow and Boll, but then he said he never had an in-depth conversation about why she left. So like, wouldn't she be like, okay? Did she just go, yeah, I'm not doing that. Bye.
Oh wait! Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't have a chance to have an
What?
in-depth conversation with her.
But why? She's like, Catherine Bigelow just doesn't explain herself. She doesn't have to.
She doesn't have to.
She's an
She's
Academy
Catherine
Award.
Bigelow.
she's an
Oscar.
Academy- Yeah.
He just, it sounded like her Oscar hung up the phone.
Yeah, yeah.
You
She
hear
hung
this?
up her phone
Ting,
with,
ting, ting.
with the
You hear
Oscar.
that? Ting, ting.
No. The answer is no. Rovin assumed that she didn't want to do another military movie, but then she was doing the Bo Bergdahl thing, so I don't know.
Yeah.
In 2015, J.C. Chandor came on to direct. He did Margin Call, All Is Lost, A Most Violent Year. Those are serious character-driven dramas, indie films. So very different swing. But Chandor is also going to do a rewrite.
I like that name, Chandor.
Chandor.
It's like I'd summon you, Chandor. demon of the deep.
Paramount summoned
Or
Chandor.
Go, Chandor.
I mean, he's J.C. Chandor. Jesus
JC.
Christ.
Jesus
Chandor.
Christ.
Christ, Chandor.
Jesus Christ, Chandor. He's like, look, I can't go by Jesus Christ in this business. I'll just be JC.
Could you imagine, like, actually,
Just
like,
be
you know,
JC.
people name their kids like, Jesus all the
Yeah,
time,
yeah.
right? Like, but you could imagine, like, how my name is, hi, welcome to class. What's your name? Hi, I'm Jesus Christ.
Just all one word.
Because it's like, it's one thing to say Jesus.
Yeah.
It's another to be Jesus Christ.
Jesus Christ, yeah.
Your name's literally Jesus Christ. Yes.
Yeah, did I stutter?
Did I stutter? It's Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ.
Who the hell am I?
Jesus Christ Chandler, go on.
Jesus Christ Chandler. He also is hired to do a rewrite. Okay, so since they have someone else, it's not Bigelow or Bowl. They have someone else. Okay, now they're ready to get going with this. So an offer goes out to Tom Hanks if he still wants in. Will Smith is now busy, but Johnny Depp wants back, but again is super busy. Obviously, none of this works out.
Johnny Depp's over there trying to pump iron too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just waiting for the
He's
triple
like-
frontier.
They're like,
I'm
Tom,
only at a double frontier at this point.
They're like-
but I'm going to build up to
I
triple
gotta get
frontier.
to triple frontier. They're like, Tom, bro, you still swole? You in? You still swelling over there?
Swole Hanks.
Swelling like a felon.
You know, it's funny because Jenny Ray started this movie and she had obviously no fucking idea
Yeah.
what was going to happen.
My
And then
expectations were like, they were like below this table.
she's never heard of it before.
Never heard of it.
Have you
Very
heard of it
low
before?
I had never heard of it either.
Okay. It's only like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes into the movie. And it's the part with where they're at the
They're the
gym,
MMA fight.
the MMA
Yeah.
fight. And Jenny Ray goes, "This is such a bro movie."
I was so mad. I'm like, it's fucking watching this bro ass movie. I'm mad about it.
Right?
Expectations on the floor. Stoked about Oscar Isaacs, and that's about it.
Yep.
Okay, it takes until early 2017 for the film to pick up steam when Channing Tatum and Tom Hardy join
Okay.
as Red Fly and Pope. I think
Okay.
Hardy was
Red Flag.
Red Fly.
Yeah, that
would
makes
make
sense.
more sense.
Yeah.
Yes. And then this is also followed by Mahershala Ali joining the cast.
Okay. That's
as
an okay cast.
Probably
That's a pretty good
my
cast.
guess
Yeah.
would be Pedro Pascal's part.
Gotcha.
Fish.
4 weeks before filming is set to begin, Paramount pulls the plug on the entire film.
Ooh.
We're done. We're not delaying it. We're done.
We're done.
Damn.
4 reasons. The budget had climbed to $70 million, and it's an adult drama, which don't do
make
anything.
that much money, yeah.
They just don't make those anymore. And Paramount had just fired their chairman, and this was one of his passion projects that he wanted to get through into production.
Gotcha.
But the new chairman of Paramount didn't care for the project. So he's like, why are we even spending money on this? And then Tatum and Hardy discovered they fucking hate each other.
Whoa, really?
Surprise, surprise.
That they're just two like completely opposites.
It was a
And
hate line. It was just
it's
a hate
line, no triangle.
Yeah, no triangle.
No
needed.
triangle.
Yeah. And from what I've heard, Channing Tatum is a delightful person, and Tom Hardy has known for being a piece of shit.
Being a pain in the ass.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Gotcha.
So kind of
not surprised.
not surprising. And then J.C. Chandor, Jesus Christ Chandor, turned in his updated script. And he, from what we gather, is he did he almost changed about 95% of the dialogue. It's the exact same plot. It's been like the same plot the whole time. Just a little bit changes here with like the characters' intros and one of the characters dying versus another one.
I see. So this is kind of like he was really enjoying this. You might even say that he had a passion for this. That this was a passion
Passion of the
Passion.
Chandor.
Passion of the
Passion
Chandor.
project.
Passion of the Chandor. Yeah.
But he turns this in, and Hardy hates it. He hates all the changes.
Now
So-
it's a hate triangle.
Now it's a hate triangle that Hardy has with the script, just
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
script. So now we have a chairman who doesn't give a shit about it, 2 actors who refuse to work together,
Yeah.
and one of them hates the new script. So, and it's going to be really expensive. Paramount just said, no, we're not going to do
Yeah.
this. They put the film into turnaround, something we've never really talked about before, but it's a term used in Hollywood when a studio declares a tax loss on all the expenses they've dumped into this project, and they're just being done with it. It's no longer going to happen at the studio.
They're just like, we're writing this off.
Exactly. No
day.
more.
Gotcha. Okay.
So the movie is now dead. The very next month, May 2019, who at that time was really into rescuing projects?
I mean, I know that feels like yesterday, but it also feels like a lifetime ago.
I don't know. Also, I feel like it's a person that we've talked about before, and I'm not gonna know who it is.
Is it an actor?
No. Company.
Oh, the streamers.
yeah,
Netflix.
Streamers.
Netflix.
The broiest of streaming services. The swollest of the streamers. Netflix.
A bit.
Yeah.
The sound when you turn on Netflix is the doom. That's what bros. That's what. Yeah, that's what they hear in their head whenever they're
That's the sound of
That's-
barbells hitting the
No,
floor.
that's the sound of that's the sound of your biceps when you go boom boom. Like that. When you're super swole.
Yeah. Yep.
So this is the time that Netflix is buying random stuff because they're like, we're getting into this, we're going full hog, right? And we need movies for our service because everybody's dropping and making their own.
Netflix are greenlit.
Yeah, yes.
Netflix, you got a movie for us? We'll buy it.
Who's involved? I don't care.
Yeah.
Jesus? All right, cool.
Oh, Jesus Christ! All
Now
right, I'm in.
you say you've got Jesus Christ and a swole Hanks. We're in.
Oh, America's sweetheart, Jesus Christ, and the swole Tom
And
Hanks.
swole Hanks.
They could solve all the world's problems.
True, yeah. Yeah, if you teamed up old JC and a swole Hanks, world peace.
America's dad.
World peace, baby.
So Netflix jumps in and buys the rights to the film because this had been this huge thing that in Hollywood they kept. Everybody was just like hearing about it. As I said at the beginning, people were coining it the movie that just refused to die.
Yeah.
And it was like a prestigious thing, and
Wasn't
Netflix was just like wanted it. Okay, so Netflix goes whole hard, and they're just like, okay, let's get everybody in line, and within that month they had their projected cast ready to go, and immediately they want for Pope and Redfly to be Ben Affleck and Casey Affleck.
Get a couple Afflecks in there. You got a movie?
Well, it does. It's just kind of interesting because that changes it to them being brothers versus the other guys being
Yeah, they don't have
brothers.
to play brothers. It's because they're brothers in real life. Doesn't mean they always have to play brothers in their movies.
Yeah, but when have that ever happened?
What do you mean?
Siblings in a movie where they're not
Not
playing
bro-
siblings.
Yeah.
Why
Has that
not?
ever happened?
Yeah, Arrested Development. Jason and Justine Bateman.
Yeah, she's right. She's right.
Boom! I got you.
Yeah, it is very good. I love all that. Their like sexual chemistry is so fucking funny.
That's true. Well, because as far as siblings go, like they don't really look
Yeah, that's
like
true
each
too.
other, so
yeah.
it could have worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they don't have to always. They're
But you're
actors.
but you're gonna get people though in the audience that are like, wait, are they brothers?
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know.
true.
Well, they're brothers in real life. Are they brother? Why do they not really like? Are
Yeah, that's true. You could have like the preconceived notion when you go into the movie thinking, oh, it's Ben and Casey Affleck. They have to be playing brothers.
Right.
And then they're not playing brothers. And then there's a brothers character.
and then everybody's head
the normals
explodes.
are like,
Yeah.
Wait, what? Were they or were they not brothers? Let's go to
so,
Reddit.
I mean, that's probably a legitimate thing that they had to think about, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
Casey Affleck obviously doesn't work out. Mahershala Ali is now busy.
Wait. He doesn't work out. Like, he's not swollen
He's
enough.
not swollen enough.
He's not swollen enough. Okay, got you.
Yeah, they just had like this. They had like an American Gladiator like competition
That
to
was
be
the
in the
audition.
cast.
His name on it is actually Casey Affleck's.
They made you do like military training. They're like, put on this rucksack and run 10 miles through some mud with holding a AK-47
Yeah.
or whatever the hell. That's if you can do that, you got the part.
got the part.
So within like a month after Netflix buys this, they round out their cast: Ben Affleck, Oscar Isaac, Charlie Hunnam, Garrett Hedlund, and Pedro Pascal.
That's the cast.
That's the cast.
Yep.
Filming is ready for August 2017. Then Ben Affleck goes into rehab.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Ben Affleck went to rehab? Why am I just hearing about
What?
this? Was it for Dunkin' Donuts?
That was a saving grace. That was a savior.
Oh,
yeah.
that's why he was smoking cigs, eating Dunkin', was because he couldn't do drugs anymore.
Yeah.
He's just like,
No, he was an alcoholic.
Yeah, it's for alcohol.
He's an alcoholic.
Yeah.
okay. So he's like, I gotta get a new dopamine hit. Oh, I know, Dunkin' Donuts.
Yes, I might get some
And ciggies.
Dunkin' Donuts on the way home.
This is why we're not swole.
We're not
by the
swole.
way.
Yes. Gotta get that Dunkin' Donuts.
So this is around the time that Ben Affleck was just kind of finished Justice League.
Okay.
And so he was just his tenure as Batman and at his swollest.
Mm-hmm.
So why he was so huge in this movie. But he was like just hating life. And when he finished his script for his version of
The
Batman.
Batman.
it was Matt Damon that said to him, "Do you really want to make this? This is going to kill you. All this
Yeah.
pressure of doing this stuff for DC and being Batman is just pushing more alcoholism onto him. Like he's just becoming more of a problem.
Right. Yeah.
And he was said to him, if you make this movie, it might kill you. And that's why Ben Affleck just went
walked.
away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Walked away from Batman. So this was the exact same time. So they were all like ready to go, month from filming, and he went into rehab.
Well, I mean, good for him.
Good for him.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That is
Yes.
good.
That's more important than doing a movie.
Yes.
For
Yes,
sure.
100%.
Yeah.
And they tried to get who to replace him?
Casey Affleck.
No, it was fucking Mark Wahlberg, wasn't
Mark
it?
Wahlberg.
Oh, yeah.
It just keeps popping up.
Yes. I mean, that's the kind of role that Mark Wahlberg can
Yeah,
do.
it's fine.
Yeah.
Again, the number one criterion is swollenness.
Swole.
Yeah, yes. He can't make it work out. So Wahlberg is just like, he's too busy. For some fucking reason.
Doing
movies,
everything else.
Yeah.
some reason that people just like, yeah, I need Mark Wahlberg in this. Whatever. Okay.
They're like, I'm sorry, Mark Wahlberg is busy? He's busy doing what? Somehow still acting in movies? Okay.
Yeah.
But it was decided to just wait until Affleck could return, which
Smart.
is Netflix money right there.
Yeah.
Just being
Yeah.
able to hold all these actors for that long.
When you say they held their schedules from August of the previous year to March, like they just paid them?
No,
or like
so
they were
there's like depending on your like level of as an actor, like he's like, oh, this didn't go. Well, this
Fuck
was
it, I'm out.
I'm supposed to be paid for this amount of time that they probably pay them different reasons, different ways. But like just being like, my schedule opened up and I'm not being paid now to make sure that they stay with the project. I'm sure they get like little fees.
Yeah.
Versus people below the line are
they
you're
just
out
have
of a
to go find a
job.
different
Yeah,
job.
You're
Yeah.
out of a
Okay.
Yeah, they give him some kind of per diem.
yeah,
Something.
just give them lunch. Hey, you can come to the cafeteria and
Yeah.
get a free
Yep.
lunch once a week.
Yes. No Dunkin' Donuts.
Here's a tub of creatine powder.
Yeah.
Go nuts. They had to have swole grips. Gripping all that gear, all
Yes.
hiking that around.
Mountains and
yeah.
jungles. Well, filming finally began in March of 2018. Despite jungle levels of rain and freezing mountainside shoots. And as producer Alex Gartner says, spiders and giant centipedes, epic levels of mud. Yeah, it was insane.
Wow.
The film finished on time and under budget.
Oh, that's
Sounds
good.
like biblical plagues. Mud, giant centipedes,
JC,
rain.
JC, can you not right now? Can
Yeah.
you not?
Jesus Christ, can you do something about this? He's like, hey,
like,
it's
hey.
out of my hands.
I'm just showing you what I can do.
Yeah.
Where did they film?
So the village is in Hawaii.
Okay.
Most of the jungle is in Hawaii. So Bogota, Colombia, that is where the opening is.
Okay.
And then they were in California in the Colorado for the mountain stuff.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay, just random fact. While filming in Bogota, Colombia, the crew set up a makeshift kennel for all the stray dogs in the town to give them veterinarian care.
Oh, babies.
So they apparently all these dogs that just like were roaming this town, and they're all fed. Like people feed them, but
Yeah.
nobody really owns them.
Yeah.
So nobody takes care of them. So they were like, oh, let's just like have this bonding thing, and so they set up this makeshift kennel really, and we're giving the dogs just shots and all these kinds of
Yeah.
neutering them. And the one, do you remember the part where Oscar Isaac is chasing the woman and then he like runs past a dog and the dog's like, ooh,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
JC, he like loved that dog and he wasn't able to bring him with him. And then after he finished the movie, they were like, hey, he's still here. And then he adopted him. And then a lot of the crew adopted lots of the dogs.
Oh,
from,
that's so cute.
That is cute.
I love that.
Yeah.
JC doing some good.
JC doing the work.
Triple Frontier released on Netflix on March 13th, 2019, worldwide. Rotten Tomatoes, 71% with critics, 58% with audiences.
Fascinating.
In July, Netflix held a meeting. So this is a couple months later. Netflix held a meeting to discuss no longer spending massive amounts of money on projects that don't drive viewership. Ted Sarantos directly points to Triple Frontier as an
shit.
example of how much they spent versus how much or how many people viewed the movie, because it cost $115 million.
Oh my
Wow.
god. Yeah, that's like big summer tentpole blockbuster
Yeah.
money for a movie that like kind of was like, hey, there's a movie. Hey, we pushing a movie out. Like they just like I didn't know this movie existed.
Yeah.
I'd never heard of
Same.
it.
Yeah.
I mentioned it to people and they're like, what the fuck are you talking about? And it's like just on Netflix, and Netflix is so inundated with other shit that
So
like
much other things.
you can never find anything on there.
Yeah, it's
So-
too much.
It's just
Yeah.
part of just thrown into the deep end of the pool, and like
Yeah.
you hope that maybe someone's gonna run into it.
Right, especially with this big name
Yeah.
of this cast.
Yeah. I remember when it actually came out because I did watch it around that time because Jenny Ray was gone, and I was just watching a bunch of movies that I knew that Jenny Ray wouldn't watch, and I remember seeing this information about the this movie coming out, and people are going like, these are the kind of movies that don't exist anymore. And so they did like a big marketing push for like a week.
Yeah.
A Netflix week.
Yeah.
And whereas like, this is the biggest, greatest thing we've ever done. And then next week, this is the biggest, greatest thing we've ever done.
Yeah. A Netflix week is like a minute.
Yeah,
a
seriously.
minute. It's the 2 minutes they count as a view, right?
Jesus, right?
So I watched it then. I'd already seen this movie before, and I didn't know anything about it before, and
Yeah.
I did not know what I was getting into. I just knew that it was a military movie.
He just knew it was a bro movie.
Bro
movie.
movie, and
Yeah.
I
He
was
was like,
doing
I'm
push-ups
having-
the whole
Yeah,
time.
he's like, I'm having my wife's out, got my bachelor vibes going, got my creatine shake, doing some push-ups, gonna watch this swole ass military movie.
Whew! I've gotten in such good shape that week while you were gone.
Yeah, and they'll keep crashing down,
Came on
right?
down.
The second I came
Came
back,
out, it's like, hey,
I
Duncan.
walked in with Dunkin' Donuts. I was like, huh? Eh?
And I went,
Which, by the way, that is the energy that Ben Affleck brings to the first like 2 scenes of this movie when they're
he's
like
the realtor.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
he's trying to sell shitty condos in Florida, and they're like, "Come do this last job," and that is smoking a cigarette and then leaning back. That is the full that Ben Affleck
That is
energy,
the
of this
energy.
movie.
Yep.
So at 115 million, which is shocking, like the movie doesn't look like a $115 million movie.
No, it doesn't.
But I think some of it is because there's some actually really good visual effects work that you can't tell that's in there. And then they did say that when Netflix bought it, it was a different thing because when you're making a movie with like a big studio, they make you go through the budget and go, do we really need this?
Yeah.
And can we cut this sequence? Because this could cost a lot. When they went to Netflix, they were like, yeah, go ahead. Do it all. And so there was no creative restriction, so they got to film whatever the hell they
Right.
wanted.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that it was like, oh, more helicopter shit. All
They
right,
didn't
cool.
eliminate any set pieces.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, okay, yeah, maybe that movie doesn't look like a 115 million movie because it is kind of a smaller like drama with just these 5 main characters. But if you think about like the locations,
Yeah.
all the crew going out there, because like a lot of it was filmed on location.
Yeah, a lot
Yeah.
of remote places.
The only thing that's maybe not real is the mule thing.
Right, when they're
Obviously,
on the
they couldn't film
mountainside.
like on a mountainside like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So maybe that was the only thing.
Right.
But
But
outside
so,
of
like-
that, it's you can tell that they're there.
They're there. And so it's very, I mean, I don't know. I guess if you take all that into consideration, just the locations and all of the logistics of like filming in those places, it's like, yeah, that like I could see how that would be an expensive movie.
Yeah, I mean,
For
yeah,
sure.
it adds up. That's
The fucking
that's-
helicopter stuff.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
good
Yeah,
Lord.
right.
Yeah.
So it cost 115 million. When the story broke, Netflix responded saying, "Hey, Triple Frontier, 63 million households watched it. It was a great success." What does that mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck does 63 million mean?
Right.
Like-
If someone had it on in the background while they were vacuuming and
Yeah.
Yeah.
And remember they until recently, the last little while, but like they used to count 2 minutes as a watch.
as a watch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And it auto plays.
That's what I was
Right.
gonna say. Is like, oh, you mean 63 million people watched Arrested Development and then this auto played?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
That's always been the problem with streamers is that they just can't, the data is really, it's in a black box. Like,
Yeah,
you can't
their
prove
their
anything.
metrics are undefined, and then when they say
Yeah.
and they throw out those big numbers, it's still arbitrary.
Right.
Like we
Yeah.
still don't understand what that means.
And how do you gauge something it's not like Triple Frontier is a movie that keeps getting more and more people to sign up for Netflix,
Yes.
right?
Yeah,
So
you can't
how-
measure conversion.
Yeah, at all.
Right. And it's not as clean as when you say like this movie like blasted the box office, because box office sales are very clear. A
Yeah.
person went to a movie theater and they bought a fucking ticket, and it's like that's the number, you know.
Yeah. And before Netflix, DVDs, you would
Right.
that you could continually see that people were still buying it.
Yeah.
And wanting it. So, yeah, how do you tell that someone who just joined Netflix this week and was like, I did it for Triple Frontier.
Right.
Yeah.
Like,
I would
what?
argue most people are
There's a
not.
survey at the beginning every time somebody signs up for Netflix. Like,
Yeah.
thank you for joining Netflix. What movie brought you to
Watch
the
Was it
service?
Triple Frontier? Please say it's
Please
Triple
say it
Frontier. It
was.
costs so much.
Yeah. If it was Triple Frontier, we'll give you 3 months free.
But that's the problem with Netflix generally is it's like I don't think anyone would say, "Oh, I have Netflix because I wanted to watch Stranger Things or whatever." Maybe Stranger Things, yeah. But like most people are just like, I either have or do not have Netflix, and if I want to watch a specific show on Netflix, I pirate Netflix
Yeah.
from someone I know, or
Yeah.
I steal someone's password.
Yep.
Like no one's like, "Oh, I have to have Netflix so that I can watch one show." And then I just have it. It's like,
Yeah.
no,
Right.
that's not how it works.
Yeah. That's it, guys.
No, hey, all right.
Oh my God. It was so short.
What was it worth it?
I walked into this movie already having my opinion kind of soured because 2 of the actors I just do not care for.
Interesting. Who?
Garrett Hedlund and Charlie Hunnam. I don't care for them at all. And anything that they've done, I'm just like, why? I mean, like there's no draw for me. So I'm like, okay, well now I could watch these 2 in a movie where anytime I've seen them in anything else, I just did not like their performance at all. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'll watch this. But then, like the movie happens and like there's fun parts about it, but like it just kind of, I don't know, it felt weird for me because like when I was talking with Ray about it last night, and I was telling her I just didn't really care for it. She's like, what, really? Oh wow, I really liked it. And I'm like, and now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, yeah, it's like it's a good movie, but I can't watch those 2 in anything that they do.
Weird.
Like I'll watch Oscar Isaac in anything. I can watch him and Pedro Pascal like read the phone book.
I will
Like,
watch them all day
yeah.
long.
And I like Ben Affleck and a lot of stuff that he's done. I mean, it's I think he's here and he's not going anywhere. And so I might as well enjoy it. So I'm like, so for
Kind of
those,
like Dunkin' Donuts,
yeah.
you know?
So for those three actors, for Ben Affleck, Pedro Pascal, and Oscar Isaac, okay, yeah, I will watch this and hopefully enjoy what they're going to be giving me. But Garrett Hedlund and Charlie Hunnam, I'm just so bored.
I also can't believe we got it for once a Clint not liking something.
Yeah, it's like the movie.
Wow.
The movie just kind of is. It just was. It's just there. Like I've seen other movies like being hyped more that are kind of got the same feel for them, and a lot of them are Ben Affleck movies. Interestingly enough, but like I'm watching this. I'm like, okay,
That happened.
that happened. Yeah, I don't know. I those two actors. They just
So
bore me.
it's funny. Charlie Hunnam is one that I could understand that because Charlie Hunnam is very much like people like Sam Worthington, where they were just trying real hard to make them the next action star,
Yes.
and they don't have that much charisma to do it. I think he's fine. I haven't watched enough stuff with him. I think Garrett Hedlund's fine too. So they weren't
Yeah.
bugging me.
It's just, I don't know. It's just
Because
it's
they
just-
were kind of part of an ensemble and they weren't the main characters, I think it was fine. It was more tolerable.
That
Because,
probably
like,
made it more tolerable for me
yeah.
too. But I think just going into it, I was just like, yeah, okay. I kind of like set myself up to be bored because they're just
always
boring to
boring.
me.
Did you watch the trailer for it at all? Or
I didn't,
You just were just blind.
I just
went
blind-
into it?
yeah, I went into
Yeah,
it.
Jenny Ray, same
yeah,
thing. She was like,
Ian's
no
just
idea.
like, we're watching this, and I'm like, all right.
It's a fucking bro movie.
Like, it's a fucking bro movie. No, I went into it. My expectations were, like I said, on the ground, on the floor, just because I know how sort of these types of Netflix original movies are. They're very much geared toward normals. Like they're just movies
Yeah.
where you're just like, this is going to be okay. This is the way my coworker put it was perfect. He's like, when I watch a Netflix original, I know that it's going to be like a 6. Like it's not going to be good, but it's probably not going to be bad. Like it's not going to be like a really bad movie.
Yeah.
It's going to be middle of the road, which to me is almost worse. Like I would much rather watch a really bad movie than I would watch just like a fucking boring middle of the road movie.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is what I expected going into this. And I was shocked at how good this movie was and how much I enjoyed this movie. And maybe it's because my expectations were so low. Well, at first I was just like, oh, damn, this is actually like pretty interesting to watch a movie where everyone is really on top of their shit
Yeah.
and no one is making mistakes. And everyone is doing everything exactly right to a point.
Yeah.
And then the money comes into play and then they make a series of very small errors that just compound and then you're like, you guys have fucked yourselves.
Yeah.
And so that storyline and that process is really fascinating because at the beginning when they're like raiding the compound and they're like they have this whole plan and they're just like so efficient. Like I was just like, yes, I just kind of love how efficient they are. They're just like,
Yeah.
"Ooh,
It's not-
ow,
it's
put
not
the
just a
blah, blah,
bunch
blah."
of
It's not a bunch
bullshit.
of fucking idiots
Yeah,
who are like
yeah.
stumble. It's not like Nathan Drake like stumbling his way into
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
you know. They're like a bunch of very good at what they do. You know, former what are they, Marines or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah, special forces.
Yeah. And so I was like, yeah, it's kind of, and then of course, like the money comes in and then they're like, we should get more of the money. And then they're like, no, we have too much. And then they put too much on the helicopter. And so I'm just like pulling my hair out, like, just fucking leave the money. Just fucking leave the money. And cause I'm like stressed out cause I know that like, it's just going to keep getting worse.
Yeah.
And anyway, so like I don't know. I guess I was just surprised because I'm like, this is a pretty tight story. I think the acting is good. I really like.
Well directed.
It's well directed. It was good. Like I was like, what the fuck is happening? That
Yeah.
this is a good movie. Shocked. But as far as was it worth it? Okay, so this is gonna be really hard. I'm going to say no, because even though it's a good movie, because no one saw it and it cost a shit. I guess you could technically still go on Netflix and watch it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still available to all these people.
Go watch
Yeah.
it. But it's like it didn't, like we were saying, it didn't make a big impact for Netflix. It's not like people got Netflix because of this movie. I don't know. Like movies on Netflix are just sort of like, yeah, it's another movie that happened. There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it feels
Like,
just
it
it
didn't-
feels very just like here's something you can watch.
If you
Yeah,
want,
if you want.
It's an
yeah.
option.
it's an
Yeah.
option out there for
And
you.
that's sad
If it
because
had-
it's not you would not put it with the rest of
No.
Netflix movies
No,
because
not
it's,
at all. Because it's good.
because it's good.
Yeah.
And this was around the time where they were mostly started making their own movies and then buying other stuff.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like this random quality, but now it's just their own stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
And because this had more prestigious beginnings, so they were just like, let's just make what they wanted.
Right.
Versus whatever Netflix, if it's originated at Netflix,
Yeah.
it would have been a movie where you can watch it while you're looking at your phone.
Right. I think that, okay, I'll put it this way. If this had been picked up by anybody who was not Netflix and actually put in a theater, then probably it would have been worth it. But like the fact that it was just made and kind of like quietly like released on Netflix and no one watched it
Yeah.
is just, and it cost that much money. And then now it's kind of this reason that Netflix is pointing to like, we can't spend this much money
Yeah.
on movies that aren't going to like move the needle, right?
Yeah.
I know there's like a lot of stuff about like streamers are ruining the movies and they're ruining theaters and people aren't going to theaters anymore. And it's like, yes, because like they very much treat movies and content as a product where they're just like,
Yeah.
if this, and I mean, Hollywood's always done that, right? Like obviously a movie, it's art, but it has to make money or else you can't keep doing it.
Right.
Like it's art and business combined. But I think like, I don't know, streaming just kind of takes that to the next level where they'll just fucking cancel a show mid-season or like after season one. They're like, we don't give a shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People loved that series and it was like very critically awarded. Well, it's not getting enough views.
Yeah, not enough
It's
people
canceled.
moved it.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just feel like they're a lot more, it's just a lot more like ruthless out there now. So I'm going to say, even though I thought this movie was very good, no, it wasn't worth it because it like cost a lot, took a lot to get made, and just didn't get watched by anybody.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. And I think, yeah, the more we're talking about it, the more I am like, yeah, okay, yeah, this movie was, it's a good movie. Maybe this is just because of how Netflix goes about it, but like it didn't move the needle for me because, yeah, like no one knew even this movie was even on the platform. But like after watching it again, I'm like, yeah, I probably don't need to watch it again.
Yeah. Yeah. I get that.
Right. Because that's the thing is this is not like I'm not saying like, holy shit, this movie's on my top 20 movies of all time.
Yeah.
Or like, I want to go watch it again immediately.
Yeah.
It was just like, oh, wow, that was like actually,
It was competent. Yeah.
it was competently made.
So a lot of the critiques against the movie were a lot of people just saying that it felt kind of lifeless. And one of the main problems that the movie has, I think, is that all the characters are kind of the same,
Yeah.
I'll agree with that.
and there's not like, that's the funny guy, that's the loose cannon, that's the whatever. And or
Because they were efficient. They were efficient.
They were
they're
efficient.
efficient, and I do really like that where they fucking get into situations and they immediately just go do thing, and then then afterwards they're just like, that fucking was terrible.
Yeah.
And they don't sit there and they're not fighting it out and
Right.
to develop a plan.
They
They're
just
just like,
move on.
let's fucking get this done.
Yeah.
And it was very like refreshing to watch that because it's not full of just unneeded drama.
Yeah.
Because they're just like, we get it. This is what the situation we're in. We're moving on.
Yep.
But yeah, there wasn't like, this is the guy that's always. They were. You could have moved all those actors around. They
Yeah.
didn't to change their
Yeah.
performances at all.
Right.
And it would have been the same movie.
I would
that's
say
good. That's a good point.
the only actor that was a little bit where the character was different and the actor played him differently was Pedro Pascal.
Yeah.
Because he was kind of like the moral compass because everyone else was very amoral in the sense that they were like, we don't give a shit. We came out here for this money and we're going to get this money.
Yeah.
And like Oscar Isaac to a lesser extent had, he was like, I actually care about the people here and I'm kind of trying to help by
Yeah.
taking down this drug dealer. But he was also like,
But yeah, you don't know if that was
money, money,
real
money.
because the money was
the
always
money was
behind
always
it.
there. Yeah. But Pedro Pascal legitimately was like, when the helicopter's going down, he's like, dump the fucking money. What are you doing? We're all going to die.
Yeah.
And,
Well, like, as soon as it
yeah.
got closer to the end, though, then kind of switched for him, though, because then he's like, shoot, kill these people.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's true, but I do think that was a self-preservation thing, right?
Yeah, like,
he's
if
just
they're-
like,
if
what
they-
the fuck are you doing?
Yeah, if you don't kill them, they will
they
kill
will
us.
kill us. Yeah. But even in that moment, right, Oscar Isaac, instead of killing the drivers, just shoots the tires out. So like everybody was a little bit the same, but there was some morally gray kind of
It's
stuff
very
in there.
minute
Yeah.
little things. But even then, if someone was just a little bit more bombastic in their
Right.
performance, or
Something.
there's the character who doesn't talk, whatever it is.
Someone
they don't
was
need me
kind
that
of a fuck
cliche
up
or
or
anything,
Yeah.
something,
but just something that did differentiate them.
I mean, I knew I wasn't going to get that from Garrett Hedlund or
Charlie
or Chuck. They're not going to.
I mean, even
I knew I was going to get the
there
bombastic.
was some like people just giving shit. It's like a truly lethargic performance from Ben Affleck, and it's like it's more in the writing is
Sure.
who those characters are.
Yeah.
But I do think it is very fascinating how as soon as they start doing the raid, you're like, damn, they're doing it.
Like-
But watching it the second time, it was very fascinating to see like how each person was making one mistake.
Yes.
A lot of them were Ben Affleck's character pushing.
Right.
He wanted to stay longer. He was like, okay, we got to get out of here. And he's like, no, we're just going to defend it. So now we have to kill everybody here. And then he was the one that was like, you got to put more on the helicopter. And he was the one that went and shot the people, the villagers.
Yep.
And so he was doing all the really kind of bad shit. But like people were allowing certain things to happen, and it was Pedro Pascal who was like, yeah, we can put more on the helicopter.
Right.
And he could have said no at that moment.
Yeah.
And the greed that was happening, and even Hedlund starting the fire was like probably got revealed their position away.
Yeah.
And so it was just those kind of like levels of like everybody was doing stupid shit. They're just the one thing that just made it just a little bit worse and put
Very
them further down that track of how bad it was going to get.
Yeah, but it was funny because even after they finished the raid and they're driving away, Garrett Hedlund's character is like pissed, and he's just like,
That was a shit show back there, man. We don't leave messes like that.
and I was like, that was a shit show. Seemed like that went pretty well to me. I don't know. I mean, look, I obviously we deal in a lot of shit shows, and that seemed like it was pretty smooth, all things considered.
Yeah.
And so I just thought that was so funny because they're just like, oh, we fucked that up, and I'm like, oh yeah, man, I'm like, yeah, like a couple of wrong turns there, but like you guys made it out okay. But it was like the decisions compounded.
Yeah.
Going back to the character stuff, it's because there's not that defined of characters, and because it is kind of weird because they're so efficient, they're just fucking doing their thing. It's not they're super lovable. So when Ben Affleck gets shot, it's shocking, but it's not sad.
I agree with you.
Like, even though it had his scene with his daughter, like that was kind of it, but it just, I don't know, it didn't cook you go, oh my God. You were just kind of, whoa, what the fuck? That just happened.
Yeah, I like jumped. Like it was very shocking. Like I was like, holy shit. But yeah, it was like a jump scare, not like a, oh my God, I'm so sad about Ben Affleck's character.
Yeah.
I mean, he kind of seemed a little bit like a piece of shit, honestly.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like this I'm saying, like he was like cigarette smoking Dunkin' Donuts Ben Affleck at the beginning where he's just like, I'm divorced. I'm kind of an absent father. I'm just trying to sell these condos. And yeah, like he had that moment with his daughter, but it's like,
Yeah.
It's easy to kill the funnier characters because you tend to be endeared to them. So maybe Pedro Pascal would have been more shocking.
well,
but
from the beginning, I'm like, okay, Pedro Pascal's gonna die because he's more likable, and he told them he just had a baby, and I was like, fuck. And so I was like preparing for that because I'm like, of course it's gonna be him because he's kind of the side character, like he's not one of the two mains and he's not one of the brothers.
Yeah.
And so he's gonna, because he was just like, man, I don't want to get into this. I just had a baby. And so when it was Ben Affleck, I was just like, what? Like it was very surprising. But yeah, I wasn't like, I don't know. And they were like, we got to get his body home. And I was like, sure, yeah, that feels like the right thing to do. But again, I wasn't like, I was glad that they're like, we're going to give all the money to his family. I was like, good, his fucking family deserves that money after whatever
after
bullshit.
all the bullshit.
the shit show they went through.
The shit show they went through. So like, it's a shockingly good movie, but was it worth it? I'm going to probably say no.
No.
Interesting. Okay. I mean, I would say kind of. I think it could have been better. Like, I think maybe the movie's there's that lifelessness idea of just like, it's very interesting.
Yeah.
It's very tense, but it's just kind of
Something about the characters is just not quite there.
yeah,
Like you want it like
just a little bit more, and having them kind of grappling with how much, like where he walks up and he's to the farmer and he's like, send me to God, and he's just like, and then he just like has a moment. He's like, but I don't know, just a little more.
Yeah.
And maybe the movie could be a little bit tighter.
Charlie Hunnam does say though at the beginning that he's like basically like they got turned into lifeless killing machines.
Yeah.
I was the best of the best. Able to shut down, control, manipulate all basic human instincts towards one goal. The completion of my mission.
So that is a big part of it, where like they all pretty much left their humanity behind a long time ago, and they were all trying to get it back, and going on this one last mission forced them to leave their humanity behind again. So you could argue that that's why there's like a lifelessness there.
Yeah.
You guys, I can't believe I'm like defending this movie as much as I am.
Original?
Yeah.
I know it's
bro movie.
I don't know what's happening right now, but like I will say Netflix good for a Netflix movie is an entirely different scale, so like don't judge me too harshly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a legitimate movie
Yeah.
that just happened, that sadly went to Netflix.
Yeah.
And that's
Yes.
why I'm like, if it had gone somewhere else, my answer would probably have been yes, it was worth it. But the fact that it went on Netflix, I'm going to say no.
That's kind of where I'm at too. Yeah, I agree.
And I'll go with a kinda.
A kinda. Kinda.
So
It was-
we're no, and
Yeah.
Shaka bro.
Aroo! Wolf Bros.
And we're done. Thank you so much for listening. It Was a Shit Show is researched and produced by me, Ian Jench. Sound editing and mix by Ray Reynolds. Our theme music is by Ryan K. Hudson. If you're enjoying the show, leave us a review on your preferred podcast player. It does help spread the word. Or you can support us on Patreon and get access to exclusive content and longer versions of the podcast. Find us on social media at It Was a Shit Show, but shit without the I. And if you haven't already, definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel.